Start. So, hello everyone, welcome back to this afternoon session. And the first speaker is Paramita Pramanik from the Harish Chandra Research Institute. So please, Paramita.
Thank you. And thank you to the organizers for this opportunity. Today I'm going to talk about a joint work with G. Mishra and K.B. Sinha. Okay, so let's start with overview of this talk and a brief motivation. So what is the motivation behind this work? And motivation comes from actually one variable Burgers theorem, which states that if you have polynomially cyclic hyponormal operator, then this operator has trace class cell commutator. Now there are plenty examples where if you go beyond one variable, commutators may not be in trace class and not even they are compact. So here we try to find one candidate which will replace the self commutator and which will be in trace class. For that, what we do first, we define determinant operator, and then we show there is a relation between determinant operator and generalized commutator, which was previously addressed by Hilton and Howe. Next, we go on defining a class BSM theta omega, and for this class, we hope determinant operator to be in trace class. And at last we give, and at last we show actually basically for the operator tuple in this class, not only determinant operator in its trace class, also we find some sort of trace estimate. And we give some finer estimate for the trace of the determinant. Okay, let's start with the very first definition of the first word I have used in my title, trace. What is trace class operator? Given a separable Hilbert space, an operator T from H to H is said to be in trace class if there is an orthonormal basis En, so that summation over n inner product of absolute value of T acting on En with En, this sum is finite, and where absolute value is the unique square root of T star T. In this talk, I will be talking about non-negative definite operators. And for non-negative definite operators, absolute value of T is actually the operator T itself. So this sum will be actually summation over n, inner product of T En with En. This sum, if it is finite, then we will say the operator is in trace class. And we will call this sum to be trace. One thing to be noticed, this definition is independent of basis. You can choose any basis. The sum will be the same for every basis. Okay. Next, let us define determinant operator. What is determinant operator? You take first operator valued matrix. So a D cross D matrix, which has each entries Bij. Bij's are bounded linear operators. Since the operator algebra is not commutative, it is non-commutative algebra, what we do? We symmetrize the ancient Laplace formula for determinant of scalar matrix. So determinant of a operator valued matrix is given by the below formula. And next, you take this special block operator matrix where the entries are commutator Tj star Ti. So here bold symbol T is T1, T2, Td commuting D tuple of operators. And this operator valued matrix is entries are commutator T star, Ti. How we define determinant of this operator valued matrix? We replace Bij by commutator Tj star Ti. Next. So this is basically very simple computation. You take pair of operators T1, T2 commuting pair. Then it is a routine calculation or easy calculation. The determinant of T star T is actually this formula. Now here are some basic properties of the determinant operator. Like scalar determinant, this determinant is also a multilinear alternating map, but this is from BH to the power D cross BH to the power D to BH. Here it is not clear that it is unique or not. Okay. Next property is, we know that determinant of a positive matrix for scalar valued case is positive. But here, if you take operator valued D cross D matrix, determinant of this operator valued matrix may not be positive. And here is the example. You take B2 B2 cross 2 block matrix, block operator matrix, where Bij is Eij. Eij is actually basically ijth entry is 1 and otherwise it is 0. This block operator matrix is self-adjoint and positive, but if you compute determinant of B, it is not positive or non-negative definite. Now, once we define determinant operator, let's see for different classes of operators, how does this determinant operator looks? How does it behaves? So you take first T to be doubly commuting D tuple of bounded linear operators. What is doubly commuting? Doubly commuting is you have T1, T2, Td, D tuple of commuting tuple, and you have extra condition that Ti commutes with Tj star if I not equal to j. For this doubly commuting tuple, you have determinant of T star T equal to D factorial, then commutator of T1 star T1 up to commutator of Td star Td. And it has one consequence that if one of the self-commutator is compact or in trace class, then determinant of T star T will be compact or in trace class respectively. Then next class, it is Hardy space over D2. So Hardy space over D2, it can be considered as Hardy space over D tensor with Hardy space over D. And you take P to B projection onto the subspace generated by constant function in H to D, and Mz be the multiplication operator on H to D. Then if you consider the multiplication tuple of H to D2, it can be considered as Mz tensor I, comma I tensor Mz. In this example, what we have, determinant of M star M is 2 times P tensor P. And one thing to be noticed here, the non-zero commutators are not even compact. But what we see, the determinant of M star M is positive with trace of the determinant is 2. So it is compact and it is in trace class. Okay. Next example is Hardy space over symmetrized bidisk. So H2D2, it is a module over CZ1, Z2, where module multiplication is given by PF, means MP of F equal to PF, where F belongs to H2D2 and P is from CZ1, Z2. But we can consider a different module multiplication by commuting pair of operators T1, T2, where T1, T2 is Mz tensor I plus I tensor Mz, and T2 is Mz tensor Mz, where Mz is the multiplication operator on H to D. What will happen? The Hardy space equipped with this multiplication operator will be the Hardy module on the symmetrized bidisk. And here if you compute determinant of T star T, that will be given by this formula. And determinant of T star T on Hardy space over symmetrized bidisk is non-negative definite and it is in trace class. Next, there is another candidate generalized commutator, which is again multilinear and alternative. And this generalized commutator was first addressed by Helton and Howe. They have also some trace formula for generalized commutator for certain class of operators. What is generalized commutator? You have A1, A2, AD, D tuple of bounded operators, not necessarily commuting. And generalized commutator GC of A, this is the notation, is defined to be the summation sigma belongs to ST permutation group of D variables, sin sigma, A sigma 1, A sigma 2, A sigma D. And sometimes this quantity is called standard polynomial. Next, for a commuting tuple of operators, what we do? You take T1, T2, TD, commuting tuple, T tuple of operators. Then GC of T star T, we define by choosing A1 to be T1 star, A2 to be T1, and we go on like this, A2D minus 1 to be TD star, A2D to be TD in the above definition. And eventually we show that the determinant operator and generalized commutator for a commuting tuple of operators, they are basically same. Next, we'll define the class BSM theta omega. First, here the term M, what M stands for? M stands for polynomial cyclicity. The D tuple T is said to be M polynomially cyclic if the smallest cardinality of linearly independent set of vectors Chi, subset of H, such that H is the closed linear span of this set is equal to M. So basically the cardinality of Chi set is M and Chi is the smallest such set. And we will let Chi M denote such Chi set of M linearly independent vectors. So given T polynomially cyclic, what we do? We define a nested sequence of subspaces, increasing subspaces. How? That is given n, Hn defined to be truncated subspace where it is the linear span of T1 to the power I1, T2 to the power ID, Td to the power ID acting on V, where V comes from Chi M, and mod of I1 plus I2 plus ID, or you can say in multivariable notation mod of I to be lesser equal to n. Pn be the projection onto this subspace. So these Hn subspaces are nested sequence, means H1 is sitting inside H2, H2 is sitting inside H3, and it will go on like this. From here, basically, we can intuitively say, means we can see, and it is true also rather, that Pn goes to identity operator in strong operator topology. Not only that, rank of Pn per Tj Pn is lesser equal to m times n plus d minus 1 choose d minus 1. Actually, proof of this rank of this one, it's very easy. It comes from the dimension calculation of Hn plus 1. Hn means given a fixed n, how many monomials are there? If you calculate, then you will find out this one. Now we are good to define the class BSM theta omega. Here we'll define what is theta. I have shown what is M. Now we'll see what is theta. Fix a bounded domain omega inside CD. Then I am cyclic commuting d-tuple of operators, which has the joint Taylor spectrum sigma t is omega closure, is said to be in the class BSM theta omega if Pn Tj Pn parp equal to 0. Determinant of T star T is non-negative definite. For a fixed but arbitrary tau, there exists theta independent of n such that inside this quantity, norm of this quantity is lesser than equal to theta times this quantity. Okay, once we define this class has nice property that if we restrict it to one variable, what will be that? That will be the single operator t, and the condition 3, it will boil down to this condition Pn T star Pn parp T Pn lesser equal to theta times norm T square. And this is always true for any operator with theta equal to 1. Thus it follows that T is in BSM theta omega means T will satisfy the hypothesis of Burgers-Shaw theorem with one extra property that Pn T Pn parp equal to 0. So for one variable, BSM theta omega is the subclass of the operators which satisfies the hypothesis of Burgers-Shaw theorem. And from Burgers-Shaw theorem, it follows that commutator is in trace class. So we can hope that for d-tuple of commuting operators in this class, determinant operator might be in trace class. Next, once we define this class, what are the operators in this class? If this class is empty, then we have no good to do anything. So for that, first class is B21. This is ellipsoid. It is defined to be Z belongs to C2 mod Z1 square plus mod Z2 less than 1. And here you take the weighted volume measure, define the inner product P inner product Q equal to integration over B21 PQ bar d mu lambda. Then you define A lambda B21, denote the Hilbert space of the completion with respect to this inner product. This A lambda B21, you can say it is weighted Bergman space. You can call it weighted Bergman space. And the following theorem says that if you take pair of multiplication operators on A lambda B21, then for lambda greater than equal to 4, I think I am not able to see actually. 1 minute. Okay, I think lambda greater than equal to 4, what you can see. Then M will be in B12, BS12 of B21. So here M has multiplicity 1. So M is one cyclic operator, and that theta, that quantity is 2. Our next class. So for next class, we take spherical tuple of operators. What is spherical tuple of operators? A d-tuple of operator T is said to be spherical if there is a map gamma from UD to UH such that gamma U star equal to U dot T. What is U dot T? U dot T is given by here. U is the unitary, U is from UD, unitary matrix, and U acting on T is given by the above formula. Next theorem says that if T is d-tuple of spherical joint weighted shift operators and T delta, what is T delta? T delta, it is if you have a spherical joint weighted shift operator, there is one associated one variable weighted shift with this T tuple of operators. And T delta actually defines hyponormality, subnormality of T, means T is hyponormal or subnormal if and only if T delta is hyponormal or subnormal. Now what we show, if T delta is hyponormal, so basically if T is hyponormal, then T is in BS 1,1 of B of R, where B of R is Z belongs to CD and its Euclidean norm is less than R. So we show that spherical joint weighted shift operator has m equal to 1 and theta equal to 1. It is also in BSM theta class with m equal to 1 and theta equal to 1. Next, Hardy space over Euclidean ball. Hardy space over Euclidean ball is special case of spherical operators. It is also spherical, but this operator we could compute trace also, not only Hardy space, actually weighted Bergman space. If you take trace of determinant will be actually 1 for weighted Bergman space also. Even more general, if delta n, limit of delta n goes to 1, then trace of the determinant will be 1, where delta n is the weight of T delta operators. Okay. Now let us come to main theorem. So basically we have seen that all these examples and all these classes of operators, determinant operator is non-negative definite and that is in trace class. And not only that, we prove that if T is commuting D tuple of operators, which is in our BSM theta omega class, then determinant operator will be in trace class and trace of the determinant will be lesser equal to m theta T factorial times product of Ti norm square. And finally, we give one conjecture refining this trace estimate. We say that trace of determinant of this one is lesser equal to, we are hoping that it is lesser equal to this quantity, where nu of omega closure, nu is the Lebesgue measure. And we have all these examples where we have actually this conjecture to be true. Okay, we'll stop here. Thank you.
Let's thank the speaker. Any question? So if not, I have one question, in fact. So can you go back to the conjecture?
Yes.
Okay. So what's the difference with your theorem 9?
And
So,
this conjecture, right?
Yeah.
So this quantity, that last quantity is lesser than the first quantity, because this is actually, I told that this operator has a joint spectrum sigma T to be omega closure, right? And joint spectrum is always sitting inside the, okay, for pair of operators, it is always sitting inside the rectangle. You see, this Lebesgue measure of omega closure, while always it will be bounded by product of norm Ti square.
Okay. Okay. So implicitly.
So this is final estimate.
Okay. So you think that this estimate is the optimal one, the sharp one?
Yeah. And also Burgers-Shaw theorem, if you see one variable Burgers-Shaw theorem, they have actually this estimate, this last one, where m is m, but d is 1. So okay. For Burgers-Shaw theorem, it is trace of determinant of commutator T star T is lesser equal to m by pi nu of sigma T.
Okay, so for D equals 1, you have this inequality.
It is the Burgers-Shaw inequality.
Okay, thank you. Any other question? So if not, let's thank the speaker again.